From movie adaptations to books and novels, stage plays have covered it all, bringing dialogue between characters whilst infusing theatrical performances to reflect a narrative, cultural or societal ill. Many have found African stage plays to be amusing, creative and appealing. Today on Breakfast Central, we will find out what it takes to put a stage drama together and how Africa's playwrights have used this platform for years in sharing conscious messages and educating many. Our guests this morning are the founder of 1000 Stories NG, writer, director Kelvin Mary Ndukwe, and Emmanuel Ozzi, who's a producer and actor. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, I'm very interested. I'm passionate about stage and film. And let's talk about how stage drama has affected professionalism of actors from time past up until today. And I'll be asking Emmanuel.
Okay. I was trained on stage before I moved into screen. Stage groomed me to be a better actor. I studied theater management and was also an actor. So I think theater management made me a better actor. I feel so. I think moving from stage, most actors that are really, really good right now, most of them have stage backgrounds.
Yep.
Yeah, because you really have to learn the craft. It's not that, I want to act, you just dabble into it now.
But the dynamics are different when you have to be on stage and when you have to be on screen. So
Yeah.
what are the differences for you?
Acting on stage has a lot to do with your voice, your body movement, most times exaggerated, because in theater they always tell you that you have to consider the blind man at the end of the theater. So mostly you have to use your voice, project, use your body, your hand movements. Everything you do have to be exaggerated. But on screen, it has to do with your emotions. So you really have to calm down, pipe down. Because I remember my first time on screen, I was still a stage actor. I'm like
Calm down.
So I had to tone everything down. And so right now I know the difference. So when I'm on screen, I know how to act, how to compose myself. Then when I'm on stage, I blow it all up. Yeah.
All right. I'm sure my colleague Osalge would be joining in on this conversation and should have some questions as well. Osalge. All right. Whilst Osalge will be joining us shortly, let's ask about Africa as a model of storytelling. As we can see in some soon-to-be released movies depicting the motherland. Let's talk about how culture and history have impacted stage plays. Talking to you.
So there is no history of a people if you cannot go back to talk about the way of life, the behavior, the history, and all of that. So here's the thing. African storytelling has evolved, to be honest. And if you then sit to weigh how we have advanced as storytellers, I mean, basically, as Africans, we sit by the tree, and then we have maybe stories being told, and there is a sage, and there is us, and you go to the village, there is a masquerade chasing you, there is you following the masquerade. That's theater in itself, But the only thing that we have struggled with over time is commercializing it, all right? But we're getting it. We're getting it.
Let's talk about, would you say that our stories have been told as much as they should have been told, right? Where you talked about sage, sitting in front of a stage.
Yeah.
We have folklore. We have some of these ancient stories and traditions that have been handed down from generation to generation. Stories our grandmothers have told us. But what we find is that when we're making film, right? Lots of people are saying, I want to go and laugh. I want to go and relax and escape the realities of life. How would you say we can find that balance between being able to tell these stories and still being able to entertain the audience?
I think it's just finding ourselves and being true to ourselves. First and foremost, the screen is not our medium. We're very, very direct people. We're very communal people. We like to relate. We're very accommodating. You go to a village, you don't know anyone, you can really settle in there. But here, what we have done is we veered off because we wanted to learn the craft of the people who taught us screen, all right? So we veered off. And but theater has successfully done that, because what theater has done is theater has managed to stay true. We've told stories of the tortoise, we've told stories of the birds, there is Langbodo, all the Shoinka works are original African works. You know, Ahmed Jerima has done so many telling and retelling. I mean, recently he wrote and directed about Emir Sanusi, which is still our own person, you know. But we have to learn to come back to ourselves to say, I mean, if we keep talking about it, I can't tell the story of John Smith better than an English person would, but I definitely will tell about Obovorawe better than an English person would.
We should tell our stories ourselves.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to ask you very quickly. Talk to us, Emmanuel, about what a person, you know, what are the preparations behind the scenes that are needed to make a stage play come to life, and talk to us from an actor's perspective very, very quickly, and talk to us from a producer's perspective.
Oh, wow.
Okay, from an actor's perspective, an actor's work starts from the script. Yeah, I get to study the script, know about your character. Apart from you studying the lines, it's about trying to immerse yourself in that character. Sometimes it helps to pick characters from people you've met in your daily life. So it's always good for an actor to be sociable and all that. So you pick characters from, it might not be just one person, it might be like 2-3 people, just pick from them, and then how will I put it now? Add it to your own characterization of the character. Brilliant. So then learning lines and all that. But I think most important is the characterization. And you cannot be able to characterize, be able to do that, internalize well, if you don't understand the story.
Yeah. All right.
You don't understand the play. You have to understand it.
All right. So talk to us from the producer's perspective.
So it's quite, I wouldn't say vague, but somewhat vague, because the so problem is commercialization. So you want to sell, and how do you sell a commodity that people are not greatly invested in? So, which is one of the reasons we've had a problem of not telling our own indigenous stories. But we've managed to, for 1,000 stories, for us at 1,000 stories, we've managed to veer back to how to manage that. First, you're looking at doing intimate productions, as against sit down and do all of that, talk to 2,000 people. You do intimate productions because we are an intimate people, all right? And then you see that thing of chasing the masquerade chasing you, all right? The English people called it site-specific theater. I mean, just only recently, in less than 20 years, all right, from now. And but meanwhile, we've had site-specific for as long as we can remember. So it's about telling our stories the best way we can.
And well done on telling these stories. Do you have any plans for stage coming up soon?
Oh yes, currently showing one of my plays, Omugwo, at Terra Culture. Still the same immersive, intimate sitting style, and then because we know that this is a postmodern time, in quote, you're looking at how to tell. Omugwo is basically postpartum depression story. So, but we're saying Omugwo has been for the longest time a panacea for postpartum depression. And that's it. And that's how we can come back to telling our stories.
Amazing. So you're merging something that's modern with our own culture and tradition.
Yes.
And when I thought Omugwo, I would first of all think of a mother coming to look for a child.
You know.
So I love the twist of that. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And well done. Keep telling these African stories.
Thank you.
We'll try.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.